Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this morning's meditation here on the Deanne Awakening Love page. Just going to give you all a few moments to find me and receive the notification. Good morning, good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, Virginia. We've got a very rainy day here this morning. Fresh and rainy, cloudy, windy. Please do share this with your on your timelines and your communities and with your friends, and of course you can tag friends underneath so that they can watch it as well wherever they are in the world. Seem to be running a little later these last few days. Good morning, Berlin. Lovely to have you here. How are you all? What's happening in your world? I've actually got the heating on here this morning, which is unheard of. It's apparently 6 degrees. So massive drop in temperature. But I feel it will warm up in a few days' time and then continue in that way. So let's all take a breath together, breathing into your belly, breathing out slowly, breathing into your belly, breathing out slowly. I woke up really early this morning, 5:30. Did some meditation, listened to some insightful kind of affirmation meditations as well, which are really good. Really enjoying those. I've actually been sharing affirmations for years now. I used to do that with my complementary therapy clients and give them affirmations, or people who are struggling with things. It's such a powerful thing to do if you don't know about it already, and just good morning. It's such a powerful thing to do, to say affirming statements to yourself about things, affirming positive statements, shall we say, and to write them down and to post them around the house if you can, or to write them down every morning, to speak them out loud to yourself is really good way of affirming new patterns of behavior. And the way that the mind works is we absorb so much information, and then we have these patterns of thought that can be quite negative. So in order to disrupt those patterns of thought, we can put in new patterns of thought, and we do that through affirmations, through sort of creative writing, or morning pages where you just write a stream of 2 or 3 pages of whatever is in your mind on waking up, and it can be a really amazing creative meditation just to do that as well. Good morning. So yeah, taking time for ourselves in the mornings when we wake up before we go ahead and do anything is really important. And obviously meditation can be a part of that. Affirmations can be a part of that. Writing down what you want to create for the day, writing down statements about yourself that you want to give yourself to improve the self-talk. And as I said, to disrupt the patterns of thought that we have, to put something more positive, more helpful, more life-affirming in there, and to kind of clear out those old patterns of thought and ideas. So, you know, we have this ability to reframe things, to reframe experiences, to reframe the way that we speak to ourselves. You know, that inner dialogue that can be very unhelpful at times. So we can reframe that and change it by listening to these kind of things and writing affirmations down and just looking at how you speak to yourself and what beliefs and ideas you've taken on board from others that they've said to you. So going back, so this really is about sort of the morning routine. So the things that we can include in our morning routines are, of course, meditation, which I've just mentioned a few times, affirmations, which are positive, life-affirming statements that we say to ourselves to disrupt these patterns of thought that we have. Of course, exercise. So it's really good to do some yoga or stretching. Some form of exercise in the morning is really good. And to write, to spend some time just writing what you want to create for the day, to affirm any life goals, to write down your dreams and your hopes and your desires. In a way, then, you know, we're full of creative energy in the morning when we wake up, so we imbue that with our powers of creativity, if you like. So to write the morning pages is to just write whatever comes to you on waking up. You know, maybe get yourself a cup of tea first or whatever, and then just to sit and write 2 or 3 A4 pages of whatever comes up for you. And it may take a little bit of time to get into that, to get used to doing that, but it can be very helpful in clearing the clutter of the mind, but also it can give you answers and create a space for creativity, so you can receive ideas through letting out the garbage, if you like. So it's like emptying the garbage can of the mind on waking up, just to make sure that everything is clear and that you've written everything down, so you've really cleared that out. We have power to direct our energy by choosing. Yes, there is this idea of choosing. There is an idea of choosing, and it does appear that we choose things, but often if you look at choice, there have been some scientific experiments done where somebody chooses to do so, or appears to choose to do something, but actually the brain has already taken the action before the body is actually moved. So it's quite interesting to see that there is an intelligence running through us, we know this, and an intelligence that is directing life through us. So we appear to be these individuals with individual choices, but actually often life, you know, there's that saying, isn't there, that, you know, when you make plans, God laughs in the face of you making plans, because at the end of the day, the higher intelligence is orchestrating everything. We can have an idea of how we want something to, you know, what direction we want something to move. But a great example is right now, and the fact that everyone had all these plans in January. You know, we were all celebrating New Year, weren't we, at the end of December 2019, and everyone was very positive about this year. Not saying this year is negative, but everyone was very positive about this year, and everyone had plans, me included. My life was kind of going really fast, sort of 150 miles an hour, with all these plans of things happening and places to go and people to see, and I'd kind of got this idea of where things were going, and I'd got some goals, and I'd made some updates and things, and then God came along and went, no, you're not going to do any of that. You're going to do this instead. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. Actually, you're going to be focusing on meditation, and then you're going to be offering that globally every morning. So there's an idea of choice, but when you look at it, the bigger picture, you can see that actually, and it's more and more obvious at the moment, the choices that we have are often overridden by the desire of life itself to create in another way. So there's an appearance of choice, but the intelligence that is running this show, the highest intelligence that is moving through all of us, through all of life, is in everything, around everything, and animates everything, has the last say. And it couldn't be more obvious than it is now. You know, as I said, we all had these plans and they've all gone out the window because the world needed to stop. There needed to be a great pause, a time of stopping, of going in. Well, many of us were already doing this anyway on a regular basis, and some of us were even living in this way already and had been forced almost to live in this way already. I'm certainly one of them. The last 2.5 years, I was very much living as I am now. And so I think there was a period of that life was calling me to get used to something, to see something different, to to live in a new way. Before the new way became really obvious, life was showing me this is how it's going to be. And that was a big shock, because I can remember feeling on numerous occasions, what is going on? Why is everything so different and such a challenge? And why are things that I keep trying to create that are normal not happening? And then it was like, well, there's a bigger picture going on here. There's a bigger picture that I can't see yet, but something is manifesting, and this is why my life is now going like this when it was going like that. And I think, you know, we all experienced this. And those of us that had these great plans have just seen them all dissolve in front of our eyes, and that something else has taken over in a way, and not in a bad way, but just, you know, the intelligence of life has taken over, because there's something else that is far more important than whether I was doing what I was doing this year, or whether you were doing what you'd planned to do in March, or, you know, whatever our plans were put to one side, because what is happening now for all of us is more important than any of our individual plans. And we have to recognize this, that when we want to do something, create something, and it doesn't work, it's not that it's a bad idea, it's that it's not in alignment with what the universe is calling forth into being. So we can push in a direction all we want, but we can't make something happen unless collectively it's needed, you know. So it's been a very interesting lesson this year so far, and it feels like time has really slowed down, like at times it's slowed down rather, and then at times it's really speeded up, and it's been like, it feels like between January and now feels like years. It doesn't feel like weeks or days or months. It feels like so much is, you know, that time is kind of, yeah, so much is filled with the space somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. At the beginning of all of this, everything seemed really slow. And then as we've continued, everything seems to have speeded up. So the days go faster. And you think, well, how did that happen? How can we be at the end of the day already? Like, what? So I don't know what your own experiences are of that at the moment, whether you're finding things are going really slowly, or whether you're finding there's a lot going on in the time that you have, or whether things have really speeded up and you don't seem to have enough time. I mean, we're all at different stages of this whole experience, and we're all experiencing it in our unique way from our unique perception. But I think, you know, as I say, it was very much needed for everyone to have this time, to have this great pause. But what we can do each day, as we have been gifted this time, many people before were rushing around like crazy from one thing to another, and I think I have actually spoken about this before. But what this has done is it's given everyone, particularly those who didn't know how to stop, who didn't know how to just be and let go of everything, to literally stop and let go and be with life, you know, right in front of you, instead of moving from one thing to the next thing and doing this and doing that. And like I say, making all these plans, everything's just been like, okay, it's time to stop, it's time to look, it's time to be here, it's time to see what's really here. You know, I'm enjoying the teleworking so much, time and nature versus the office. I wish it would slow down more. Yeah, exactly. People are being, it's a great point, people are being able to see life. Some people for the first time are able to see what life is really about, in the stopping. I also recognise that for some people it's very, very difficult just to stop when you're used to going 100 miles an hour, when life has been so hectic, to all of a sudden not have that. It's like, you know, panic can kind of set in. You know, there's a possibility for a kind of meltdown in that situation, because where is the structure? Where is the busyness? Where is the distraction that was all there before? It's all gone. But you know, when we slow down in life, when things slow down, then we actually heal. Then we can really see. Then we can look at ourselves and our lives and just appreciate and investigate and bring awareness to the parts of ourselves and life that maybe we hadn't looked at before. So you know, this great pause, it is such a gift in so many ways, to be able to just drop in and look and slow down. And yes, and some people are able to get the perfect balance between being in nature, being out, being around friends in some capacity, and, you know, being able to work as well. And maybe the work and boundaries have blurred a little bit. I know for me, like, the work that I'm able to do is kind of all over the place. It's morning, evening, afternoon. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really matter what time of day it is. I do seem to be doing, yeah, stuff is getting done in its own way, you know. stuff is being created in its own way, but I also have this space, which I had before and was always creating before. Instead of what task is next, it is what does my body need, like you taught me. Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, we've got a hammock, fantastic. Yeah, you see, those kind of things are great. And usually we have to wait till we go somewhere, like on holiday, to go and experience that. But you know, life can be a holiday, life can be work, life can be love, life can be experience, life can be time out, like life can be a pause, life can be busy at times, slow at other times, life can be healing. You know, we can have all of this. We don't have to say, oh, I'm just going to be in the office 24/7 and that's it, or I'm just going to rush about every day. And because no matter how much we rush about, it doesn't actually get us anywhere. I mean, where are we trying to get to when we rush about from one thing to another? Busy mind, constantly full of stuff. Where does that actually get us in the end? You know, where are we trying to get to? What are we trying to achieve by that? What does happen is life is completely missed. You know, by being busy and the mind distracted, going from one thing to another, we don't, there's that saying, you know, we don't get to stop and smell the roses. Only when we stop can we heal and can we really be with life as it presents itself to us. If we're too much in the mind and too driven to get somewhere, we just never get anywhere apart from exhausted, stressed, tired, worn out, and desperately needing a holiday. But if we balance life, if we say, okay, so this part of the day is going to be given to me and I'm going to nurture myself with meditation and writing and affirmations and creation and goals and, you know, whatever you want to put down on paper, whatever, you know, exercise, whatever you want to do to nourish and love yourself and create a sacred space for yourself in the mornings. And then, you know, have a specific time of day when you're going to do your work stuff, and then create clear boundaries around that so that you're not overstretching yourself, because no one wins any prizes if they overstretch themselves, do they? There's nobody like waving a prize at you if you just wear yourself out with what you're doing. So take each day, hold each day, grasp each day, make the most of each day, live each day like it's your last day. You know, really make the day a ritual, make all the parts of your day into rituals, and have gratitude for all the parts of the day. Gratitude that you've woken up in the morning. Gratitude that you've given yourself space and time to just be. And then gratitude for the work that comes your way. And we're not meant to be living, working 24/7. You know, we're just not. There has to be this balance there. I was rushing through the day to get home and collapse. Exactly. And how terribly sad is that? To be somewhere, to be in a job, or, you know, working somewhere that you don't really want to be, and actually no one else really wants to be there either, so that causes lots of problems in the space because no one really wants to be there and everyone's kind of stressed. So you're being in an environment I can't speak, an environment that no one really wants to be in, and you rush through work the whole day, you're wishing the day to be over. You're wishing the day to be over so that you can get home exhausted and then do the same thing again tomorrow. No. What is the purpose of spending your life like that? What is the purpose of spending your life like that? And for those of you that may be still doing that or still trying to do that, stop. What are you doing with your life? It's not about being in an environment you don't want to be in, doing something you don't want to do so you can wish the day away, get home, be totally exhausted, worn out, and then do it all again the next day. And even worse than, well, part of that whole thing is waiting for Friday. You know, oh, I wish it was Friday. I wish it was the end of the week. So people are living wishing the week away, wishing the days away, wishing the week away. So they're not living, they're just existing. Existing in sadness, in depression, because they're not doing what they really want to do. They're not following their passion, they're not following their truth. They're just focused on, how can I pay this, how can I pay that. There's no space for creativity, there's no space for pause, there's no space for silence with themselves. I mean, let's just stop that craziness right now. You know, here's an opportunity. What do you really want out of your life? How do you want your life to be? It's up to you. Don't give that power to anybody else to decide that for you. It's actually your life. And if you don't live it, the only person that's going to regret that is you. No one else is going to care. They're too busy and too interested in living their lives. If you hand over your power to someone else, no one else is going to care that you did that. So think about, what is it that you want in your life? What is it that you want to create? How do you want your life to be on a daily basis? Do you want to be able to spend more time with your friends, more time with your family, or at least connecting with them in some way or shape or form? Do you want to be able to tell those people that you love them? Do you want to be able to, you know, do you want to have that space to just be? And ask yourself every day, like at different times in the day, and set yourself reminders on your phone. This is a really good tip, actually. You know, what do I need in this moment? What do I need in this moment, right now? What is going to support me? What is going to be loving towards myself? What do I really need? Do I need to stop? Do I need to make myself healthy food? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to sit and be creative for a while? Do I need to connect with a friend or my family or my partner? Throughout the day, just pause, check in with yourself. Okay, so what's happening here? What do I need? Just gonna read some more comments. I'm lucky I enjoy my job. Yes, and see, this is the beauty. And some people do have jobs that they really enjoy and they love being there and they love going or working from home or however it goes. And they love their job and it's part of their life and they don't feel exhausted or depleted or like they want to just get to the weekend. And that is beautiful. And I personally believe that everyone should be able to do that. We can bring awareness into everything we do, even mundane work. We can. Yes, of course. Hello, good morning. So yeah, what do you want to create for yourselves in the morning? How do you want your routine to be? What questions are you going to ask yourself throughout the day that are nurturing and loving and kind and helpful for you to keep checking in with yourself about things? And like I said, to have this space that we have at the moment is healing space for all of us. Look how much stuff is coming up for you, for me, for everyone at this time. How much is coming up to be seen, to be looked at, to be heard, you know, all the different aspects of our lives coming up to be seen, to be felt. And it's like our cells are going, we can pause, and they're opening up and they're, you know, stuff is coming up that's been held deep in the body for a long time. Many of us are crying a lot, just releasing. Many of us are more joyful. Many of us are finding ways to look after ourselves better because of the whole health side of things. So this is not a negative experience as such. But going back to the end of 2019 and, you know, everyone's plans just kind of went out the window. So life is really in charge here. But you can create the day. You can fill the day with the things that you want to create and fill it with. Make time for yourself to do that. It's so important. Especially in the morning, which is the ideal time for just being with yourself, for noticing your thoughts, for noticing how you feel. Some people, and I experienced this for a while, wake up with a lot of anxiety about life, about things, whether it's their own anxiety, collective anxiety, you know, their partner's anxiety, whatever it might be. They wake up with that feeling of overwhelm and kind of stress, and they haven't even got out of bed yet, and it's like they're worrying about something they don't even know what they're worrying about. They're stressing about something they don't even know what it is. So if that comes up in you, just to sit or lie there and just be okay, so this is how I'm feeling right now, and just let yourself assimilate those feelings, not push them away and say, I shouldn't feel like this and why am I feeling like this, but just to notice, okay, there appears to be some anxiety or some stress or whatever it might be. I'm just going to allow myself to feel this, and then I can move in to the rest of the day. So it's not about negating how we feel, ever. It's accepting it, loving it, and being the space that holds it all. The last 20 years at least, I have been trying to be more at one with nature. You are nature, you're always at one with it. You can't try and be at one with nature. No. I was talking about this before. When we say that we're going to try and do something, it never happens. We're putting it off. We're saying that we're not that, so we're putting it off and we delay it. When I'm more like this, then I'll be happier, I'll be more accepted, I'll be more loved, I'll love myself more, whatever that story is. You are nature, we're all nature. You don't need to try and be at one with nature. You just need to recognize that you are already nature and your oneness is infinite and here. It's not in another place, and it's not if you go and spend more time with the trees or the plants or the flowers. You are nature. Everything about you is nature. The universe's plans seem to be going just fine. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And when we recognize that, then also this kind of suffering and this fight stops with life as well. And I know there are paradoxes in what I'm saying, because life is a big paradox. And there is yin and yang, and there are a multitude of possibilities happening for all of us every day, every moment. But don't delay your happiness. Don't delay your truth. Don't delay your right to have space and time and to pause and to be with yourself and to feel your emotions. Don't delay your experience of life. Wallowing in dirt does help ground me, and touching trees. Yes, being in nature is important, and recognizing our own nature is also really important. Oh, don't know what I did there. Oh, sorry. Just reading your comments. Just trying to look at the rest of this comment and then press the button. So, I get there on some days, but the drudgery and stresses of life get in the way sometimes. If you let it, I balance as much as I can. Yeah, so look at what those are, and is it the mind that's deciding that it's drudgery and stresses? Or is it actually, what are the beliefs around what's happening? What can you do differently? Is it an idea in the mind that's making you... Because that's the other thing. Stress is often caused by the way that we look at things, and the specific way that we look at things, and we see it as stressful. And we want to work it out, and we want to figure out how to change something. But often if we literally just say to ourselves, right, I'm going to relax into this, I'm not going to worry about it, because if you notice, when we get into a pattern of worry, it never helps in any way, shape or form. It just exacerbates the situation and prolongs it, and prolongs our agony about whatever it is that's going on, or our suffering. So yeah, just to recognize the way that we also think about things, because sometimes our thinking about things is making the situation much worse than it ever was. And another part of this is that when we worry about things, often we are worrying about things that never actually happen either. So we sort of creating this idea that we need to worry about something that hasn't happened, and then we're sort of taking away our life. We're going to a place where we're removing ourselves from life, what's actually here, and into a memory or an idea or a future of something that hasn't actually happened, but that we are worried about. Doesn't make a great deal of sense, but I know that many people experience this, and I have also experienced it. So it's far better to just relax and trust that life has its way. This intelligence that I've been talking about, life has its way of figuring things out. Just because you or I can't see what that is doesn't mean that it isn't being figured out and won't be figured out perfectly for everybody involved. And when we're able to just step back and let that go, often we'll see how that manifests itself. And we're like, wow, I really didn't need to get stressed or worried about that. And all that stress does is build up, you know, stress hormones in the body and cause physical, mental, emotional situations, and health issues and mental health issues and things like that. So it's not healthy to be stressed about things or to worry about things that may never actually happen, and often don't happen. So it's kind of wasted energy, really. Thinking, that's funny. Yeah, well, if we think too much, if we're in the mind all the time and listening to whatever the mind is coming up with, which will be all kinds of stories about things, it's very tiring to be in that space. It's very tiring, stressful, mentally just tiring. Trying not to put the camera on again, on the other way. Right. That's when you have to step back and look at the bigger picture and decide how important this thing, whatever it is, yeah, big or small, is to you. More often than not, it isn't. Yes, exactly. But also, beyond that, just, you know, recognizing that life has brought me this far. Life has always figured everything out so far. Why wouldn't life continue to figure everything out for the rest of the time that I'm, you know, in this body? That's the other thing. We think that we're going to get to a point where all of a sudden things aren't going to work out. But that's never actually happened so far. So we convince ourselves that so far our life has been, you know, everything's worked out, everything's continuing to work out, and yet there's going to come a point where it's not going to work out because life isn't actually going to take care anymore. It's going to stop taking care. But that's not the truth, is it? Because we see the pattern already. We see how it's all worked out, how it's all part of a plan, how it's all moving us in a certain specific direction. How this intelligence that I keep mentioning, you know, this intelligence of life, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is moving through everything. There isn't going to come a point where all of a sudden that all falls apart. Might appear like life has fallen apart in some ways when we lose things. We lose our relationships, we lose our homes, we lose our jobs, we lose our careers, all these things. But life is falling apart so that it can come back together in a totally different way. And it has to fall apart in order to be able to do that. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, you know, you've got the box or bag or whatever of all the jigsaw puzzles, and all the pieces are there, and there's loads of pieces, but it has to come apart before you can put it back together, and so on. And you know, this is how life is. Things are always falling apart, falling away, in order for things to come together in a different way, to manifest in a different way, to come into form in a different way. Our DNA is a memory, our imprinting is a memory. The now beholds all. Yes, it does. We are the now, essentially. We are the now unfolding. What we are is the now unfolding. We're not separate from the now. Might appear to be, but we're not. And that's also what I mean by this intelligence that's moving through everything, every moment. And animates our body, it animates our being, it animates us, each one of us. And life. So let's just go into our meditation now. And you have to put effort in to put the jigsaw together. It won't do it for you. Well, there's an appearance that it won't do it for you, but actually I think you'd find that it would. But most of us are not willing to let go enough of life to enable that process. We're too caught up in trying to control everything all the time. And this is where our suffering happens, when we're controlling things and things aren't going our way and we want them to be a certain way, and we're holding on to the pattern of things or to just things generally. But when we let go, then we see how the jigsaw puzzle comes together, and we might be guided to take some action at some point, but not to actually hold tight to something and rigidly try and make it be a certain way. That's attachment to an outcome, attachment to anything really. Any attachment that we form to an outcome of something or someone is going to create suffering. Because life is all about falling apart, recreating in another way, falling apart, manifesting in another way. Just look at your life so far, you'll see that pattern. It's very clear. What happened in order to get you where you are, to where you're living, to what you're doing now, was the old had to fall away. You had to let go. You couldn't control anymore. You had to let go of those things. How can we make things better? I suppose the question is to ask what needs making better. Is it the thoughts that something is wrong with what's happening now? Or is it that you want a different experience than what you're having now? Often, to have a different experience, we have to accept the experience that we're having. These are the paradoxes. If we want something new, we have to fully accept where we're at. And relax where we're at. Because the new is being birthed now. We can look at the areas of our lives and say, I would like this or I'd like that, and give space to it. But again, if we try and control it rigidly, often it doesn't work, because there's a divine timing in everything. And that divine timing is like the butterfly effect. It doesn't just work out for you, it works out for those people and that situation. And, there's a pattern of events that goes on whenever anything changes, when anything is manifested, when life moves in a different direction. There's a chain of events, of people, of situations, of collective manifesting, of energy, of, all these things. When enough people have the same vision as well, then it becomes a reality. So let's all take a breath together, just placing your hand in the middle of your chest on your heart chakra, breathing into your belly, breathing out slowly. Taking another breath in. And we're going to just close our eyes. So closing your eyes now, just listen to the sound of my voice. Make sure that you're comfortable, you're warm enough. The first thing that we're going to do is just notice how the body feels. Just noticing if there's any tension in the body anywhere, any restriction. Anywhere in the body where the energy is not flowing as easily. Just become aware of that part of the body. And just allowing the breath to find its own rhythm, breathing easily and gently. With each breath, just letting everything in the body settle. And continuing to just notice the breath. With each breath allowing any tension to just relax in the body. Any areas of stress or tension, just give them permission to relax. And just allow now a smile to arise in your heart. And let this smile move from your heart up onto your lips. Very naturally noticing the smile within your heart moving onto your lips. It might be a slow process. Just notice how it feels. To bring a smile into your heart and to let it move onto your lips slowly. Being fully aware of this process. Just releasing that smile out into the world, into your homes, into your towns. And in your own time, you can take a slightly deeper breath now. And slowly opening your eyes. Bringing that smile to your lips as you open your eyes. welcoming the day. Thank you for being here for this morning's meditation and sharing. Just give yourselves a moment. You can connect with me here every morning at around 8 a.m. British Summertime, London time, on my Deanne Awakening Love page. You can also connect with me on my Deanne G page. Please do check out my website, www.awakeninglove.co.uk. I'll include my link for my website and my PayPal in the description of this video. All of these videos are, of course, free, but if you'd like to support me at this time, then all your contributions are gratefully received, and I thank you. I will be back tomorrow morning at around 8 a.m. British Summertime, London time. Have a blessed day, blessed evening, blessed afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all tomorrow.